Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Something to Talk About. I'm your host, Jay. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing great. I'm not sure what's going on about this weather. One moment it's hot, another moment it's cold, and you're thinking to open the heater in May? Like, what the fuck? Stop playing with the weather, okay? Ugh. On today's episode, I do have something to talk about, and it's not about the pasta. Today, it's all about the season finale of Vanderpump Rules. What a bunch of fake friends and losers. Yes, Lauren from Utah and Miss Pick Me Up Sheena. They are the worst. Keep listening because I have so much to say about this whole season. But first, if you would like to have one of your talents, artists on the show, or you're a celebrity and you have something to talk about, it would be my pleasure to have you on Something to Talk About with Jay podcast. All you have to do is reach out by sending us an email inquiry at contactsomethingtotalkabout@gmail.com for advertisement, sponsorship inquiries, or have us promote your brand and review your products in one of our episodes or on our website. Listen up. Want to advertise or sponsor Something to Talk About podcast? Send us an email at contactsomethingtotalkabout@gmail.com. To keep up with all the episodes, subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts or on all platforms where podcasts are available. Something to Talk About podcast is your one-stop destination for unapologetic, authentic conversations that you won't get anywhere else. We're not afraid to say it just the way we mean it. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Also, make sure to follow Something to Talk About on all social media platforms, on Instagram and YouTube at Something to Talk About with Jay, on TikTok, Something to Talk About Pod, and on X at STTA Pod. Now, raise the volume up because I do have something to talk about. Okay, let's get to this madness that is the cast of Vanderpump Rules. The jealousy of this cast, minus Katie, Ali, and the number one guy in the group, James, is just disgraceful and disgusting. All throughout this season, we've seen the hypocrisy and jealousy of Lala and Sheena, but boy oh boy, the season finale episode was the cherry on the cake. With so-called friends like this, who needs enemies? They all were hoping that Ariana would have just stayed depressed and crying in the corner of a room for the entire season because that would have validated their own sick little egos. Because they love weaponizing Ariana's mental health against her, but my girl said nope. I'm going to keep showing my real life and how I'm processing this whole ordeal, whether it's bad or good. Ariana went to every single event this season without complaining. All she asked of this group was, please, do not talk to me about anything Sandoval, and they couldn't even grant her that wish. All season long, they've gaslighted her. They kept bringing his name up to her, trying to coerce her into joining this whole Sandoval redemption arc crap. Give it up, Bravo. It's not landing like you thought it would on viewers. The guy is a narcissist creep who only cares about himself and thinks life is a performance 24/7, especially when the cameras are rolling. He had many chances to redeem himself and show remorse and accountability, but even that he couldn't do because he still doesn't think he did anything wrong, and his hatred for Ariana is concerning at this point. He's always screaming about how Ariana isn't doing anything, how lazy she is. Like, what? Are you kidding me? For someone he claims that's lazy, she sure has and still being booked and busy. Ariana has been doing plenty fun commercials. She's been on Broadway, and that was a huge success to the point they've asked her back for more, and she'll reprise the role of Roxy again in August this year. Oh, let's not forget, she's the new host of Love Island US. She just had a collab with DSW for her shoe collection. Her and Katie are opening their sandwich shop, Something About Her, May 22nd, and I'm pretty sure she has more things lined up coming soon. If that's the behavior of someone lazy, then sign me up. Okay? Sign me the fuck up. And what I find interesting about this whole lazy comment is that everybody that calls themselves her friend never came to her defense. Seriously, they are the worst kind of people. When it comes to Lala's hatred for Ariana, she kept mentioning that Ariana never showed or talked about her real life. Really, Lauren from Utah? Let me refresh your tiny memory. Ariana has spoken about her mental health, of her dad's passing, her sexuality and being bisexual, her relationship with Sandoval, her body dysmorphia due to a previous abusive relationship she was in, and more. So my question to you, wannabe gangster, is what else do you want from her? What else do you want Ariana to talk about, you fucking weirdo? This jealousy will be your downfall, Lala. You always want to pretend that you're supportive of other women, but when the time comes to walk the walk, you can't even stand on your two fucking feet. All you've been doing is trash Ariana and Katie, but Sandoval and Schwartz gets a pass? You and your mouthpiece of a brother, just please go away. You want to pretend that you don't care about what the viewers think about you, but did you forget that without us, the viewers, you and your family wouldn't have nothing? And you would be forced to go and work a normal job? Without us buying your merch and other shit, you wouldn't even be able to put a down payment on your fucking house. You think Bravo, Peacock, and Andy Cohen are your bosses? No, Sherlock. We are your bosses. Yes, us, the viewers, you don't give a shit about, because if we stop watching anything you're on, it's a wrap. And there won't be no more seasons, which means no more checks coming. So you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss an episode of Something to Talk About with Jay Podcast. Subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate and leave us a review. Thank you for your support. Now let's get back to Something to Talk About with your host, Jay. Welcome back to Something to Talk About. I won't even go into what I think about Sheena in this episode because boy, oh boy. She basically admitted in her debut season that she's a guy's girl and not a girl's girl. She's a male sympathizer, and unfortunately that will never change. Everything always has to be about her and nobody else. To her, a friend is beneficial, meaning what you can do for her will equal to your worth. If you dare have better opportunities than her, she'll eventually show her true colors, just like she did with Ariana. With a friend like that, who needs enemies? Okay, let's move on. Do y'all know what time it is? It's time to
disengage. Disengage.
Every week, I'll talk about something or someone we as a community need to let go and separate ourselves from. Any toxicity, bad energy, people that don't make no damn sense in my world, your world, let's disengage from said things or people. This week, let's disengage ourselves from Lauren from Utah. Sandoval, Schwartz, Sheena, and that payroll husband of hers. I think I made myself clear on the reasons why. Okay? All I'll say is jealousy is a hell of a drug. Well, that's a wrap for episode 5. Thanks for joining me this week on Something to Talk About. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts so you'll never miss a show. For any feedbacks on today's episode, follow us on Instagram at Something to Talk About with G, or write us an email at contactsomethingtotalkabout@gmail.com. Also, please don't hesitate to tell us which topics you would like us to cover in future episodes. To get in touch, drop us a line in the comments section or send us a message on social media. Until next time, happy podcasting and thanks for listening. Bye!